Are you serious? Are you serious? What? We must talk about Vladimir Putin. As we did a report yesterday, the situation in Russia is becoming dire as the ruble is collapsing and oil prices continue to fall. President Vladimir Putin's position is becoming more and more unstable as the leader of his nation, as rallies by thousands were outside the Kremlin just about a week ago, and there is a underlying frustration, if you will, among the Russian people. Matter of fact, I have a report here. Putin is especially dangerous right now. And why? It's not because he's a bad person. It's not because he's a mean man. I mean, yes, he is ex-KGB, but it's not that. It's the fact that he has been cornered. He's in a corner, and he has to come out. The bear is going to roar. Matter of fact, Stephen Ben-Danoon with Israeli News Now out of Jerusalem, who has just recently been in the Czech Republic, has a report on the situation beginning to develop and the potential even for World War III. Here is a quick overview, if you will, by Stephen Ben-Danoon.
Broadcast of a fragment of President Vladimir Putin's speech to the Valdau Discussion Club last year, during which he portrayed Russian annexation of Crimea as the actions of a proud bear standing its ground against U.S. imperialism. The bear will not ask anyone's permission, Putin said. In our part of the world, the bear is considered the master of the taiga. And I know for a fact that it is not intending to move to some other climatic zone, but it will not let anyone have its taiga. It's very serious, no doubt. It's as if Russia has its finger on the trigger. That Russian bear that even biblically is spoken about that would come against Israel. Of course, the United States is a great distance off, but not from Russia's nuclear arsenal. But it seems to be in other reports that are being reported out of Russia that Russia is preparing not so much for a nuclear war with the United States, but rather they may be preparing for a ground war, not so much in the United States, or possibly the U.S., or possibly somewhere else in the region, such as the runaway Soviet nations from the former Soviet Union, like Georgia, Chechnya.
So what Stephen Ben-Danoon's bringing up here is a very valid point, and that is, you've got Russia cornered. No, they're not. Yeah, I mean, yes, their nuclear warheads would reach America, but they know as well as we know that launching of nuclear weapons is just suicide for all people. That would never be the result of the situation developing with Putin. But he has already annexed Crimea and has been involved in the eastern Ukraine uprising with pro-Russian separatists. But if his nation is to the point of teetering, if his power is threatened, then of course Vladimir Putin may turn to other measures to preoccupy the Americans and to get them to back down on their position of sanctions and isolation that they're doing to the Russian nation. In my book, Mark of the Beast, RFID, I write extensively a lot about the bear, about Vladimir Putin even. He's on the back of my cover, that both he and Barack Obama would literally be on separate sides of the fence, if you will, or barbed wire, as it comes to the world elite and the world struggle for power. Now, this is in my book, Mark of the Beast, RFID. It's available only at my website if you want to know more about it. Here's some other reports, though, that the Business Insider is saying. The sanctions against Russia and cuts in oil prices have finally worked. They are destroying the Russian economy. The ruble has collapsed, losing 60% of its value since President Putin's invasion of Ukraine began. But that's little solace for the Ukrainian people, whose economy has collapsed even faster, and the value of its currency for instance, folks, before Russia invaded Ukraine, leading up just, before the Winter Olympics, Russia had an enormous cash reserve of $550 billion. Today, it's now only worth $400 billion. That's because of the falling ruble. And as far as Ukraine is concerned, they're now $40 billion in deficit. So the pressure is building. The bear is wounded and cornered. And there is a hope. I'm telling you, this year, 2015, a very prophetic year. It is the year of the Shemitah, the year of release or the year of judgment. But it's also the year of the third and fourth blood moons. A very prophetic time we're living in. And, of course, we will continue to monitor every step of it along the way as we're approaching an apocalyptic end of a world that we know and the coming King, Jesus Christ, for his bride. Are you saved? Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're living in the last days.